Thank you all for being here. What we'll do is Coach Stock will make opening comment, and then he'll answer any questions you may have about this year's signing class. So to talk about his ninth class, Coach Rick Stockstill.
White balance. All right, appreciate everybody coming today. I know it's a special day for a lot of people and for families and players all around the country, so I recognize that. But first of all, I'd like to start out by thanking everybody here at Middle Tennessee who had a hand in this recruiting class. Just did a phenomenal job, especially our coaches. I thought they were tremendous in their work ethic and how they worked this year in putting this class together. So a special thank you to those guys and just everybody here at Middle Tennessee. We've got a great product to sell here, and it's shown in this class. And I say it all the time, no coach is going to stand up here and say he's disappointed in his class or anything like that. But I'm really excited about this class. I think we filled all our needs, and we filled them with good players that are going to help us. Some will help us pretty quick in their careers, so I'm excited to get to work with these guys. But, we signed 23 guys. I thought we met all our needs on offense. We hit exactly what we wanted. We wanted one quarterback, one tailback, one fullback, two tight ends, two receivers, and 5 linemen, and we got all those guys. And then on defense, I thought we had everything we wanted or needed. We lost a defensive end and a defensive tackle here in the last hour over the weekend and then Monday. So those guys went to a different school. So we'll evaluate where we are. We'll evaluate what's out there and see if we pick up anybody here before the fall, before August gets started. But I'm really, really excited about this class. There's good size, there's good speed, there's good length, there's good athleticism and speed. I think the 10 guys that are here right now will be a tremendous advantage for us. It'll be a tremendous advantage for them being able to go through our winter program and through spring practice. That'll give them a big jump, and then you throw in the summer and everything. So I'm really, really pumped about this class and the guys that are going to be here. So with that, I'll open up to your questions.
How much did it help you bring in these players with the success that you've had in the past couple of years, going back-to-back 8-4s, going to a bowl game last year, and making the move to Conference USA? How much did that help?
I think anytime you can show the consistency that we've shown in the time that I've been here, I think that helps. I think it helps tremendously, and it was a huge help in this class in putting this class together this year.
How will this class help the team in the near future? I know you kind of touched on your opening statement. Kind of expand on how this class is going to help the team.
Well, I think those guys that are here now, they'll have the quickest impact, the quickest ability to have an impact on the team because they're already here. They're going to be able to go through our offense and defense and special teams systems and schemes and everything through the spring, so that'll help them. That'll give them a leg up on the others. Plus, they're, with the exception of, AJ, they're and Brent, they're 2 years older, than everybody else. So their maturity, their experience. They've already played a couple years of ball, so that'll play a huge factor in their growth and their development.
I know earlier this week the schedule came out for this season, so kind of talk about that. How excited are you about the upcoming schedule?
I'm excited about it. I think it's a great schedule. I think there's some really marquee games, especially early in the season. We don't have a game over Thanksgiving, where that interferes with anything. So to me, there's no excuse. Nobody has an excuse to not fill that stadium up, not to buy season tickets. It's time that we start selling that thing out. So I think we've got a very attractive schedule for our fans to come and see the game and support this team and support this program.
Coach, sometimes you look at different classes at schools and you can look at, well, this is a Florida-Georgia class or this is a junior college California class. You've got 2 from South Carolina. You've got some from Tennessee, Ohio, New Jersey. I mean, California, it spreads around everywhere. Is there anything to that?
Well, I think the junior college guys add a little bit to the depth of the states that we recruited. 2 of the junior college guys are from South Carolina, so are you going to classify them as junior college guys or from the state of South Carolina? Same with the California JUCO, New Jersey, JUCO, and we got Roberts from Ohio, there as a high school player. So I think it's, I don't put a whole lot of emphasis. We're still going to recruit or start in Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, and Alabama are going to be our main, states that we're going to recruit. And then if we can't find what we need there, we'll branch out.
Do you almost look at this class and evaluating it as kind of a split in half of the midterm guys and the guys that you signed today in terms of their impact? Do you look at them separately a little bit? Because I would imagine it's going to take a while for the rest of them.
Yeah, you always, my philosophy is, my philosophy is, we're not going to assign a junior college guy to come and sit on the bench. You don't have time to develop a junior college guy. He's got to come in. He's got to be ready to contribute now. And that's what I think all those guys can do. A high school guy, you've got 5 years. You can redshirt and develop and bring along. But I just thought we needed, you look at the 2 offensive linemen, the junior college guys that we brought in, we lost 2 and really 3 freshman offensive linemen last year. You lost Daniel for most of the year or half the year because of an injury, and then he was able to come back and finish. You lost Connor. We lost Connor and Daniel Ownby, with shoulder injuries, and I didn't know, how they were going to come back. Would they be able to be ready for spring or whatnot? So there's a need there for a junior college offensive lineman, and that's why they're there. So the same at linebacker with those guys. So expect those guys to come in and contribute immediately.
You signed Herod, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, the running back. Is he a little more of a physical back? Is he a Jordan Parker type?
I would say they're probably similar. Jordan's a little bit taller. I can't remember what Jordan weighed come out of high school, but he might be a little bit heavier right now than what Jordan was coming out of high school. So he's a very physical runner. He was our running back. He was the guy that we wanted. We been there, and that thing went down to the wire with him, and really excited that we were able to land him. So just really, I think he's got a chance to be a really good running back for us.
You said you have 4, I think you have 4 left that you can sign, a maximum of 4 more to get to 27. Do you plan on looking in the junior college ranks if you're going to get a D lineman, or high school, or you said you'll look? Where will you look?
Well, I think we'll look in both areas. The defensive end that we lost was a high school player. The defensive tackle that decided to go somewhere else was a high school player. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a high school player. It doesn't necessarily have to be a junior college guy. So I just want to look and we'll evaluate and see what's out there, what's available in both high school and junior college. And like I said earlier, I'm not going to take somebody just to take them because we'll have such a small class next year that I'll just use those numbers in that class.
Pretty much any coach in any school in the country can go into today with that list in their mind, and everybody's going to lose a couple to this school, and everybody's going to hold on to or take from another school that they could go elsewhere. How do you deal with the anxiety going into the day, knowing that's always going to happen, and how do you deal with it after the fact?
Well, it's very. I don't think people really understand, the stress that coaches put on themselves, the amount of work you put in, calling a kid, calling, his mom, his dad, his family members, everything that you do. And it's not just for December and January. This thing starts a long time ago. And in some cases, you've developed a relationship, well over a year, when this process gets started. So you never relax. And it's almost like, you win a game and you're walking off the field and, yeah, you're happy, but you're relieved. By the time you get to the locker room, you're thinking about the next game. And when they commit and when that letter comes in, it's almost a relief, and now you worry about the next guy who hasn't come in yet. So it's disappointing when you lose a guy because of all the hard work and effort that you put into it. But I've learned through the years, and I've been on both sides. I've been where you got them in the Tuesday night at midnight, and I've been there where you've lost them Tuesday night at midnight. And but I've learned over the years that if you have to beg somebody to come, if it's going back and forth between this school, and that school, if you're having to beg them to come 6, 7, 8 hours before they sign, it's probably not going to pan out anyway. Their indecisiveness, their indecision, and they could end up being All-American wherever they go, being the pro and Super Bowl and all that stuff. But a lot of times when you get to that point where you're begging them to come, it's probably not going to work out anyway. So it's the reality of this business. You're going to get them sometimes and you're going to lose them sometimes. And sit up here next year and I'll probably tell you the same thing. Had somebody at Tuesday night and we lost them, and had somebody at Tuesday night we didn't think we were going to get and we did get. So every coach, like you said, Adam, every coach in America is probably going through some of those feelings, right now.
Coach, if you could talk a little bit about the new additions to the staff, particularly Coach Wade and Coach Polly. These guys were brought in as pretty highly touted recruiters, and they hit the trail pretty hard for you this year. Kind of, how would you evaluate their contributions this year?
Well, first of all, and like I said earlier, I thought our entire staff did a great job. I thought everybody worked their tail off and were relentless in everything they did. So, I don't want to, draw attention away from people. So, but I thought Jeep and Mike did an outstanding job. They both love recruiting, and I've always said to be a good recruiter, you have to love it. You have to make it personal. You have to take a genuine and sincere interest, in that kid. And you've got to be able to look under every rock, every tape recorder, everything there is. You've got to get to know everybody that's got a hand on that family, because there's one person out there that you may not know that's going to pull the trigger. So you've got to make sure you're very diligent and relentless in everything you do. And both Mike and Jeep did a phenomenal job recruiting this year, and they worked very hard. They're conscientious about it.
This year, more so than in the past, you guys secured a lot of early commitments in the process in the summer, July, August. By this time, your class is pretty much spoken for heading down the stretch. Was that more of a product of a more aggressive recruiting tactics, or do you think it was just kind of the way it happened this year?
Well, I think it's a combination. I'm going to be a Yogi Bear, a combination of three things. Usually, I think the trend now is getting more and more that guys are committing earlier and they're making decisions earlier. So that's part of it. I thought we did a great job of identifying guys in the summer. We had a lot of guys on campus for camps. We had a lot of guys come through here on unofficial visits in the summer. So I thought our guys did a great job of identifying guys earlier. We knew, pretty early in this deal that we needed to sign or wanted to sign a couple junior college linebackers. We wanted to sign a couple of junior college safety nickel type guys, a couple offensive linemen. So we did a really, really good job of getting tape and evaluations on our junior college guys at an earlier process than we had before in the past. So I think it's, a combination of all those things.
Last thing, the social media aspect of recruiting in this day and age, and from you guys and your staff particularly, you were very active on Twitter with subliminal tweets here, subliminal tweets there, and bolt up. You guys had a hashtag for almost every day. Do you foresee that as something that's going to just grow and become bigger in the future, or is it something you have to do to kind of keep up with the trend?
Well, I think it'll only get bigger. I think you have to do it because your competition is doing it. And I think what you'll see now, I think it may force the NCAA's hand to say, y'all do it. I mean, just all this texting, tweeting, direct message, all that stuff. Because now coaches are starting to push the envelope a little bit. I saw one that, this great DT in Kentucky, boy, he can really bend and run. Well, you know who you're talking about. So I just think that it's getting closer to that time where the NCAA is going to say, these are the 5 rules that you got to abide by, and have it everything else. So, but no, you've got to keep up in social media, and our coaches did a great job with all that stuff too. So, because your competition is.
Coach, you talked about the early commitments you got. Did that make today easier for you, as far as the signing day? Did you feel better, more at ease?
No, I don't think, Tom. I don't think you ever, at least me, I've never felt at ease going into signing day, just because I've been on both ends of the deal where you get them and you lose them. So, you didn't have to worry about 10 guys. That's 10 less guys you had to worry about. But you still have that same mental, the anxiety, the pressure, the stress, the just sitting there trying to follow him on Twitter or whatever to see if he's done anything or not yet. So, so I wouldn't say it made it any easier or I relaxed any more.
Coach, I was going to ask you, is this a bit of a special class, being that your son's coming to play here for you?
To me, he's been in this class. He's already been here, so I haven't looked at it that way. No, he is officially part of this class now. This is that deal. But if you ask him a couple years from now, I bet he'd say he came in with, last year's class that he was here, when he set out.
The move to Conference USA, was it easier to get guys to come here after you guys made the move in recruiting this year?
I don't know if it was easier, but we had more to sell. And I said this last year. Last year we had really about 6 weeks to recruit on Conference USA. And by that time, most of our class was done. And just being able to say we were going into Conference USA helped. This year, now we've played in it. We had success in it. We went to a bowl in it. Just everything that happened, it gave us more to sell. That, hey, look, our first year in it, this is what we did. This is, we were on TV this many times. These are the bowls that you can go to. So, it just gave you another, something you could sell to the parents and to the kid.
Did you feel like the program is kind of out there more, so maybe you talk to kids that maybe not heard of it, but you have a range of an audience for
I think that's a great point. I'd agree with you 100%. You know, that you didn't have that. Now, what conference are you guys in now? It was, they knew we were in Conference USA. They knew what we'd done. They'd seen us on TV a bunch. So you didn't have to explain Conference USA, like we had to in the past a little bit, explain what conference we were in. People already knew that. It's, Conference USA is a recognizable national, it's got a brand, it's a great brand. So it was, and I guess everything I'm saying makes it sound like it was easier, but it was so much more enjoyable to sell what we had to sell in this with being in Conference USA.
Coach, can you talk about the local kids you got from Nashville?
Yeah, I think I'm excited about Carlos. Came to our camp and he committed to us pretty early. I think he's a tough young man. He's a good player. He's got great feet. He can do everything you want. He's everything you want in an offensive lineman. So really excited about him. And then same with Jesse. He's a tough, hard-nosed, blue-collar, just get down the dirt and get nasty and get after it. So, but I think both those guys are going to be really good players for us, and proud of them. Both those guys, committed early and had chances to look and go elsewhere, and both of them stuck here. So there's a added sense of appreciation, to those guys. So excited about coaching them and getting them here this summer.
Coach, a lot of us kind of visualize a war room, a recruiting war room, as something you'd see like on draft day in the NFL or something. It's 15 guys around a huge table and they all have one phone in the middle and that sort of thing. Why is it's not that? I mean, is it because of smartphones? Everybody's here in this office and then going down the hall over here and having little meetings and that sort of thing? And has that changed over the last 20 years of how recruiting signing day is?
A little overrated, isn't it? and that's what I say. I mean, everybody thinks that, you're just sitting there just, on pins and needles. And I spent a lot of time calling people because we still had a couple guys we were working. But in the past, when you only had the landline phone, everybody had to be close because, I'm talking, said, okay, here's Adam, I'll have you talk to him now. Whereas now I can walk down the hall talking and say, oh, here's Adam, and give it to you now. So I just think that, it's changed a little bit, but not drastically. In the NFL war room, draft room, when they select Joe and you wanted to select Joe, well, you go take Tom on the next pick. If Joe doesn't come to us, you're not looking there, so all right, let's go call Tom and get him right now. So that doesn't happen. So I just, you're excited when that fax comes in and everything, but man, then you're on to the next one. And especially when you still have a couple guys that you're working and talking to that, you're going to try to get some privacy and get away so you're not distracted. Good deal. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.